Hello and welcome to the eToff 21 Sports Podcast. I'm Eric, the man behind eToff 21 Sports. You can find my work at eToff 21 Sports on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and yes, TikTok. How is everyone doing? Are we getting stir crazy being in quarantine? Are we one of those people protesting without a mask, standing elbow to elbow each other and spreading the disease? Did you guys see in Florida yesterday how people were protesting in front of a courthouse about not having a gym open so they could work out in? And they're doing squats and push-ups. So you're protesting by showing the courthouse you can work out outside. That is a bold strategy and something idiotic. I mean, the one thing that this quarantine has showed me is how people react in crisis. I mean, think I'm handling it great. I'm doing day trading. I'm providing you guys with more content. And then we see other people who are just saying stupid stuff, flying off the wind. So, I mean, it's telling me a lot about people. And hopefully you guys are doing okay with it and everything. The important thing to remember is just try to help people out. I mean, you just got to be kind. So, with the lack of sports, we have a decent amount of sports coming back this week with NASCAR, German soccer, and we actually have 2 UFC cards. Reminder that all plays will be free until June 1st. I'll be posting everything that I am personally playing with how many units to risk and whatnot. Also, Churchill Downs will start and Golden Gate Bridges will start on Thursday. So all my horse plays are on eToff21 Sports _horse_racing. Every horse bet, I only wager 1 unit to win. I'm up over 50 units, and my ROI is 114%, another way of looking at it. And all that stuff has been posted for free. So if you guys, check that out, I'm giving away everything free until June, and then memberships are going to start up because June is when stuff is actually hopefully going to start to get back to normal. I also had some people asking me about my thoughts on the NFL schedule. I'm going to be recording, I believe, Thursday on the That's What G Said podcast. And I will be going through team by team. I'll give you some thoughts on their schedule. I'll give you my ceiling for wins and floor for wins for each team. A couple fantasy players I like. Some situational bets that if the situation lines up like I think it will and the numbers right, I'll be on. And also my future bets. So again, that is usually premium content, but with the quarantine and everything, all that stuff is going to be free. The UFC was back this weekend with UFC 249. Did all you guys end up watching it? I was locked in, watched every bout but the first one. Had a little trouble ordering the pay-per-view, but, that was a little hiccup, but eventually got everything working. What did you guys think of it? I thought it was entertaining, right? The first fight, we had Mitchell plus 160. Mitchell dominated Rosa in a grappling to win a unanimous decision. Mitchell controlled Rosa every round, taking him to the ground, almost submitting him multiple times. Mitchell is fastly becoming a bright prospect in the 145 division. It was a dominant performance. I was really impressed by the kid. That kid is going places. Well, I believe he's 13-0 overall, 4-0 in UFC. Really looking good. Unfortunately, though, we lost Watterson plus 130 to Espenza. Typical UFC judging. I've said in the past that the awful judging will be the downfall of the sport. To have one judge 30-27 Watterson, the other judge 30-27 Espenza, how can those guys be watching the same fight with such discrepancy? Fine, 28-29, one Watterson, one Espenza. I get that. That's fine. That makes sense. Okay, that's fine. But to have 30-27 for both of them, that's idiotic. And that needs to get cleaned up. Dana White's obviously going to have to do something because there's going to be a bout where there's going to be a huge controversy because of that. End of the day, the karate hottie Watterson lost. We lost our bet. Is what it is. You move on. But I will tell you guys this. If you are not following her, on Instagram, you guys are missing out. She is a beautiful woman. And her husband is extremely lucky. So if you guys aren't following Watterson, the karate hottie on Instagram, must follow. An absolute must follow. Our big dog of the night, Olenek, hit it plus 258. Like I said, in life, there's a couple things that motivate people. Family and money. And that's what he was fighting for. He needed to win that fight to provide money for his family. And that's what he did. He came out, he looked in good shape, and he won the fight. He got gassed out a little bit to the end, cashed it out 29-28, but overall, he was fighting for his family. You could tell he was fighting with something to prove. Pettis defeated Cowboy in another one of the famous UFC decisions fight. I thought the judges messed up, but like I said, judging's going to be the downfall of the sport. The thing that stuck out to me was there's an obvious eye poke from Pettis to Cowboy that Peterson, the referee, missed. And I don't understand how, as a referee, and you being right there watching that, how you can miss such an obvious eye poke. Really was like, dude, what the heck? I mean, but both those guys, at the end of the day, they're both so unreliable. Cowboy was this 3 or 4 in a row he's lost. Pettis fights his best when he's like free falling, not being so structured. Cowboy's toward the end of the line, which pains me to say it because I really like the guy. But it'll be interesting to see where both these guys go after this. Hardy defeated DeCastro. We were on DeCastro. Hardy checked one of DeCastro's leg kicks, and that led to a broken toe or some sort of foot injury with DeCastro. And it was interesting because Hardy said after the fight, he heard DC, the commentator, say leg check. And that's when he started to do it. So it's going to be interesting to see, is Dana White going to move the judges back so that way when you're fighting, since there's no fans, you can't hear what they're saying? Because that's basically coaching from a coach, from a person that's not a coach. So it was kind of a little bit, what the heck? So I'd like to see those guys move back so they can't hear what they're saying. Because that's kind of a little bit of an unfair advantage in my eyes. The cornermen should only be allowed to do that. Also, Francis, oh my God, he is a bad man. I mean, he knocked out Rosette in 20 seconds. I mean, that was impressive as hell. Francis needs a title shot right away. But, that won't happen because the current champ, Minoch, is a first responder in Ohio fighting this pandemic. Once he comes back, he's supposed to fight DC, and the winner of that, after they heal, will fight Francis. But are they going to have Cormier and Francis fight for an interim title because Strupp can't fight? I mean, that's something also to think of, too. But Cormier, I mean, you got to take that dude to the ground because that is a bad motherfucker, man. You can't swing punches with him or you're going to get your ass knocked out. You just can't do it. So, I mean, that would be an interesting fight, but, I mean, if I can get Francis anything close to even money, I'd be on that in a heartbeat. But it would be interesting to see how he did on the ground game. But he's so big and so quick and so powerful. Like, once you get hit, how can you recover from that? Henry Cejudo scored a controversial knockout over Dominick Cruz. Cruz got hit by a knee, got knocked down. When he was on the ground, he got hit 11 times, but it was making his way to his feet when referee Keith Peterson again, noticed a trend, stopped the fight. After the bout, Cruz claimed that Peterson smelled of alcohol and cigarettes when he entered the ring and he wanted a new referee. This is huge because a UFC official drunk? I mean, the cigarettes part, that's fine. I could care less about that. But he's smelling like booze and drunk, calling a fight during a pandemic with the whole world watching? Are you kidding me? That's the look that UFC is giving out. This could be huge for Peterson's career if it is true. And it's going to be sad if Cruz is just saying that for an excuse. Henry Cejudo announced after the fight that he was retiring. I'm done with the sport and I want to walk away. I have nothing else to prove. He's having a baby girl. So my thing to this is he's always claimed that he's been underpaid. Is he just doing this because he wants to get more money? Is he? I don't know. But it wouldn't surprise me if he eventually does come back for a payday because he's all about that money. And that's what he wants. But there's also a rumor that he wants to go back to Olympic wrestling. He feels he can make the team. I just don't know. Part of me thinks deep down this is just a money grab for him. And he's just looking to make more money because he's been quite vocal. He feels that he's underpaid by the UFC. And as someone that is a champion in 2 divisions and Olympic champion and hasn't lost a fight in a couple years, I don't know how long, he feels he's being underpaid. So if he's doing this as a ploy for money, so be it. But if he's actually walking away, it was a hell of a run. Another event over the weekend was the WWE Money in the Bank. And oh my God. Did you guys see Sasha Banks? Like, I'm here watching, and she is wearing this red leather suit. And as soon as I saw her, my jaw literally hit the ground. Then she knocked Tamara to the ground, and you could see the tan line on her boobs. And oh my God, that was so incredibly hot. That girl is truly a gorgeous woman. A gorgeous woman. And with Becky Lynch now, I don't know if she's retiring or just putting her career on pause. There needs to be a top female in the WWE. Is that Sasha Banks? Because she's a draw. People like her. Are they going to go with Charlotte? I mean, because Becky Lynch announced that she is a mom. She's pregnant and she's due in December. So she's on the shelf right now. And now that leaves Vince without your top guy, Roman Reigns, who's your top guy babyface because of his leukemia history. He doesn't want to come back with the COVID-19, which rightfully so. That's his right. You know, he's worried thinking about him, his family, and his health, and I totally get it. And then your top female just announced she's pregnant. Congrats to her and Seth Rollins. That's great. Starting a family is great. But in terms of the business aspect, what's Vince is going to do? Because people aren't tuning in right now, and now you're just losing arguably one of your top draws. You know, what are you going to do to get people's interest to come back? There's no real star. I mean, Bray Wyatt, but they killed that when they had Bill Goldberg beat him. I mean, I really think you need to go all in with Sasha Banks and get that feud with Bayley going. In terms of SmackDown, they're constantly pumping this Otis thing, which was fine, it was good, but now he just won Money in the Bank, you know. So what? I mean, that really does nothing for me. I think Aleister Black would have been a better decision, but Braun Strowman and he's a champion there, and he's probably going to continue his feud with Bray Wyatt, but Bray Wyatt will go to the front. But I just don't know. They need to do something to create a buzz, and I'm just not getting the buzz from them. And I really think the Sasha Bayley feud hopefully will jumpstart it. And I really think they need to go all in with Sasha, especially because she's going to be in that Disney show, the Star Wars Disney show. What is it? Almadrin or whatever. And she's going to be one of the stars of season 2. They need to cash in on that. And I would use her to hopefully jumpstart the ratings back. And that Otis thing has been great, but that needs to kind of go back a little bit. And then with Raw, I don't know, are people tuning in is Drew McIntyre as champion really getting you excited? I mean, there's a lot of questions that WWE has to do. Plus, you hear Stephanie's selling off her shares, Vince is selling off her shares, and everyone else is selling off shares. I mean, WWE's in a world of hurt. And then AEW is constantly beating NXT on Wednesdays. Yeah, so Vince is going to have to come up with rabbit out of his hat to figure out what to do to compete and try to get those numbers back. The Last Dance has been great the last 2 episodes. And you could tell that Michael Jordan doesn't like that he wasn't liked. But he wants to win more and be the best. Being the best at something means people hate you because of the success you are having. People are jealous. And the people you work with or around don't like you because you're so demanding. The best line in that whole thing was, "You may think I'm a tyrant, but that's because you don't win." And I'll tell you guys something. I am very difficult to be around. I'm nowhere near Jordan level. I am very difficult to be around. And because I want to be the best, I constantly work, constantly grind. So, I mean, I get it. And being good is hard. You can't just wake up and decide you want to be good. I mean, this gambling stuff and fantasy stuff, I put a lot of hours in the day. And because I put a lot of hours in the day, I win money and I'm able to provide for my family. But that just doesn't happen with me just showing up and saying, "Oh, I'm going to start blah, blah, blah because blah, blah, blah is good." That's not how it works. Or I'm going to bet blah, blah, blah because it's good. You got to work. You got to put the grind in. So that's why I love these 2 episodes. And then also the finals, and Gary Payton was like, "Oh, if I would have started checking Jordan earlier, we actually could have maybe won the series. The outcome could have been different, a lot closer." Then to see Jordan laugh, dude, I love Gary Payton, one of the better trash talkers back in the day, but he's never going to recover from that.